out there. Hi, guys. It's been well over a year. It's been so long that I didn't even know I could go live, which makes life a lot easier. Um, so why am I back? I have made a huge bunch of changes in the last 3 weeks. Thumbs that up if you resonate with that. And I just finished work. I got 2 shifts left as a line cook at a great place. Um, and I don't know, I just came in here, and the last thing I thought I'd do is go back on here and be be going live. Check those out. Nice, huh? Anyway, but to the point. I found this book by the same author of the Sermon on the Mount called Power Through Constructive Thinking. It's by Emmet Fox. And I'm pretty sure I'm not going to get in trouble because this cost $2 when it came out. This book is a forceful, inspiring message from the man who has shown hundreds of thousands how to work wonders in their own lives. Writing with simplicity and dramatic clarity, Dr. Fox shows how through constructive thinking, you may achieve the personal power which overcomes failure and discouragement, opening the way to a finer, happier, and richer life. Containing much of Dr. Fox's most helpful teachings, heretofore available only in pamphlet form, this is a book you will cherish and read again and again, a never-failing source of strength. Originally published by Harper and Brothers, and this was 1923, I believe. About Mr. Emmet Fox. The author of these daily meditation was one of the outstanding spiritual teachers of our time. While Emmet Fox lived, he addressed some of the largest audiences ever gathered to hear one man's thoughts on the religious meaning of life. Don't let the word religious get you all messed up. If this resonates with you, it will. If it doesn't, it's okay. His books and pamphlets have been distributed to over 3 million people. And by now it's like, God knows. And it can be conservatively estimated that they have come into the hands of 10 million. Again, this was like in 1923. The reader will not find warmed over words here, but rather the living essence of the career of a great spiritual teacher. One who understood the springs of life and how their pure distillation might be taken and used. His keen insight, combined with his gift for amped, pungent expression, speaks afresh to everyday needs and are sure to make this new book find a large and wide readership. Let's see. Power Through Constructive Thinking by Emmet Fox. Oh, my bad. 1932. We're going to start with The Wonder Child. It'll be 13 pages long. Introduction. This book is designed to teach the principles of life building through constructive thought. All pies in creative thought. Thought is the key to life. For as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. People are beginning to understand today something of the power of thought to shape the individual's destiny. They know vaguely that thoughts are things, but how the great law of thought is to be applied, they do not know. This book shows that your destiny is really in your own hands, because it is impossible to think one thing and produce another. And that by the selection of correct thought, our harmonious and happy life is produced. It shows that weak and fecal. What does that mean? I'll tell you. Fickle means, not fecal, this is slightly different. But fickle means someone that's deceptive, that betrays, that is unstable in affection, unstable in interest, unstable in loyalty. It shows that weak and fickle thinking produces a drifting and wasted life, and that fear is the ultimate cause of or trap root of all sickness, failure, and disappointment. This is where I like to always add that there's scientific proof. And by the way, if you deal with jalapenos like I did today, maybe don't rub your hands with the same hands you cut them with. It doesn't feel good. But back to point. It shows that scientifically speaking, fear is the same exact emotion as excitement, scientifically speaking, in your body. So what does that mean? It means that whenever you start getting scared, and the way I learned it, which is how I'll tell you, is pretend you're a child. You've never been on a roller coaster before. And you go up there and you're like, I don't know what to expect. That looks really crazy. People are laughing. People are screaming. I don't know what's up. And you're with someone that's like, oh my God, you're going to love this. You're going to want to get right back on. And they excite you about it. Then you're going to be excited. But the same exact chemical reaction that happens in your body with excitement is also the same chemical reaction that happens when you're afraid. And excitement is the same chemical reaction in your body. So if somebody's going up there, it's like, oh my God, are you sure you want to do this? Like, this is so scary. Like, oh my God, like, I can't do it. Then you're just going to be afraid for the rest of your life until you figure it out and decide for yourself what choice you're going to make there. Are you going to be excited about something when things change? Or are you going to go into fear? Don't go into fear. It's a wasted choice. Don't do it. So many things you'll have to clean up if you do, energetically and physically in your life. You'll just waste your time. Don't do that. And where are we? It shows that fear is the ultimate cause or taproot of all sickness, failure, and disappointment. And it shows the only possible method of overcoming fear. What you really think about any person or any situation, and I really like to slanted really, like what you really think, not what you're saying out loud to other people that you think of about them, what you actually think about them or any situation is your treatment of that condition. And if you wish the condition to change, you must know how to treat it differently by a change in your thought. But it is also true that the fixed general conviction of your life, as distinct from your current thinking, makes you what you are. What does that mean? He rephrases it here. Your mental conduct, your hour by hour thinking, in other words, produces specific conditions and may be thought of as the weather of your soul. What's the weather of your soul today? Well, what are you thinking about? Your fixed convictions, however, concerning the things that really matter are seldom changed and may be called the climate of the soul. That's poetic. And it is these that mold your destiny. The climate and the weather of your soul and your soul is what's going to create your destiny. That's why it matters. What do you really believe about the great problems of life? What do you think about your relationship to God? What sort of God do you worship? Do you think that prayer really makes a difference? These days, shit. Sorry, not supposed to cuss. I said kids could watch this. What is your God? For those of you that don't even resonate with that, could mean like, what do you think about? Like, what is the thing that you value the most? Is it money? Is it how you look? Is it someone you love? love, that could be your God. And prayer is another modern way of saying it would be, what do you meditate on? What do you really sit there and put all your energy on? Do you think that prayer is really makes a difference? Are you merely praying to a magnificent? Okay, this is slightly different because it's old school. Do you think that prayer really makes any difference? For those of you who may not know what prayer is when you give the power of the situation up and just go, I can't figure this out. So, or in the beginning, if you don't know about prayer, that's where you start, and then you just, AKA God, and everything from this cat. They really are connected to the plants around you, to the rocks, to the molecules in the building. All of it is connected. So that is God. And when you can't figure it out anymore, you keep trying and it just keeps screwing up and you just feel less and less hope in your life, that's when you start praying to something bigger than yourself and go, well, maybe if I come from here, from your heart, if your intent is not to hurt another, if your intent is to have it be the best possible outcome for all involved, without selfishness and without greed and without anger or resentment, if you're able to go to that place in yourself, that's where you pray from. And that is what prayer is. And that is what allows the universe, source, energy, all that is God, to able to attract things to you that resonate with what you're coming from your heart. That is prayer. What do you really, the great problems of life? What do you think about your relationship to God, source, all that is? What sort of God do you worship? When you speak to this entity, or however you want to choose to connect to it, are you coming from your heart, or are you coming from an ugly place? Do you think that prayer really makes any difference? Are you asking for something that's beautiful and of good kindness, or are you trying to overcome or outdo somebody, or control somebody else? Because that's not prayer, that's something else, and it's dark. Don't do that. Are you merely praying a magnificent edition of yourself? Are you merely praying to a magnified edition of yourself? Or are you worshiping the true God in spirit and in truth? What do you think about life after death? Do you think that you have ever lived before? Powerful questions. Worth meditating on. Are you nourishing a grievance at the bottom of your heart because you think you were born into an unfavorable condition? Wow. Why is one man sick and another man well? Why does one man live in a happy, comfortable home and another drag out a meager existence in a slum? Why is one man popular and respected and another man disliked, or at least ignored? Why does one man produce a great work while another falters through life without ever doing anything worthwhile? And this is old school, so they're going to make reference to man a lot, but just think of the number 6, and that is the number, if numerology, that's the number of man, so that means human. So don't get caught up on the little things like that. They're just words. Sorry. Why are so many sincerely religious people unhappy and frustrated? Why are many earnest Bible students, or whatever religious book you'll read, unable to solve a single one of their own problems? Why is it that some of those people that are like sincerely, and I'm going to say this is someone that's always smiling and happy most of the time when they're in the right alignment, but there's some people that, like, when I'm out of alignment, I can fuck up sorry, kids are watching possibly. When I'm in a negative space, it's hard for people around me not to notice. And that's the older I get, the more I'm so old, I can't deny the fact that I know that. So I have to have a lot of responsibility with that, because you should never negatively affect the people around you. And that's very hard. Welcome to humanity. But those people that are always happy, but when they get home, they cry and throw things or whatever. I don't know how else to describe it. Just people that are like hiding behind a happy mask. Those people that really can't show their emotions outside. And you're one of those people, just let it out. It's okay if people get mad at you. It's okay if you make people uncomfortable. They do the same to other people. It's just part of being human. Just be authentic. But those are when they're describing the Bible students unable to solve a single one of their own problems. Today's terms would be those people that are all into the new age and are like, oh, I'm gonna just manifest everything perfect because I said so. Same thing. No. You have to be authentic. The emotions that you're feeling are okay. You're supposed to feel them. This is not supposed to be unicorns and rainbows at all times. As we grow forth and continue to evolve, sure, because there's all these other things that could take up that are positive, your time and your thoughts and your space, but we're not quite there yet. We're still in a very turmoiled planet, so we're not that enlightened yet. So feel your feelings. Why is it that learned men and philosophers are notoriously unsuccessful in the business of personal living? In our time here, Jordan Peterson just came out of a very dark night of the soul. Great philosopher, one of my personal teachers, not personal, but I mean, the ones that I personally go to. He's one of my go-tos. He had a hell of a time of darkness. He was addicted to pain medication and all this stuff, and he had to get his shit together and get his act together. Why is it that learned men and philosophers are notoriously unsuccessful in the business of personal living? And he is becoming successful, but it's really good to see him struggle to come in and out. Everything ebbs and weaves, ebbs and flows. So if your life is bad, just keep going and keep striving in a positive direction. It'll get better. It has to. It always does. But then it'll dip down once in a while, and it's okay. It'll keep you strong. Why is it that learned men and philosophers are notoriously unsuccessful in the business of personal living, if it is really true that knowledge is power? That's a really good question. I have answers, but it's not my book, so I'm going to continue reading. It is necessary for you to realize that it is your considered attitude to such questions as these that ultimately determines everything in your life, from the state of your body to the daily work that you do and the kind of people that you meet. This book is intended to help people to clarify their thinking on these important points. So feel free to rewind, because damn, that's a lot. Those are questions worth journaling. The book is intended to help people to clarify their thinking on these important points. It is an attempt to explain the fundamental truth of being in the simple language of everyday life, from 1932 or whatever this is. The author has always believed that it must be possible to explain the most profound truths of religion and philosophy in the simplest language. And he has made it a rule, both in his writings and on the platform, never to employ any word that is not in common use in offices, workshops, streetcars, and so forth. Some knowledge of metaphysics or spiritual truth is absolutely essential if you are to understand yourself and to take over effectual control of your life. And this book deals with the subject from several different angles. Speaking of angles, let's try this angle. The teaching in this book is found on the Bible. It's funny they say on instead of in. The Bible is not like any other book. Okay, I believe that too. From personal experiences that true people of the way understand that the individual experiences that you find in that living book, which is the Bible, which yes, it has a bunch of crap in it too, but it has gold in it too, diamonds. And people of the way know that because they've had personal experiences like I myself have had that is just so neon, as I've always called it. It's like neon lights. It's like the synchronicities are so intense, and the people that walk up to you that are right there in the right moment at the right time. That's what makes that book stand the test of time. But there are other books. It's not just that one. Let's see. In this book deals with the subject from several different angles. The teaching in this book is found on the Bible. The Bible is not like any other book. It is a spiritual vortex. I like that. Through which spiritual power pours from heaven to earth, and the reason why most people derive comparatively little profit from its study is that they lack the spiritual key. Well, that's a fancy way of saying it, isn't it? But I like it. You can have power to make your life healthy, happy, useful, and outstandingly successful if you will study the laws of life and apply them faithfully. All the essays in this book have previously been published as separate pamphlets and are still obtainable in that form. This collected edition is put out in response to very many requests from all over the world. And we're at 2153. And I guess we won't get to the Wonder Child because that introduction was heavy enough. And I mean heavy, like enough for you to chew on and indulge. So nice to be back, guys. And it's nice to go live. So thank you, YouTube, for, I don't know how long this live thing has been back for people that formerly it was you needed to have 2,000 subscribers, which clearly I do not. But it's nice. It's like a full circle because when I started this journey back in my channel that got deleted a long time ago, this is how we used to do. So thanks, YouTube, for bringing that back. Good night, guys.